No DQ Galaxy, we are live with a recap of Monday Night Raw for Monday, June 19th, 2023. Shout out to everybody watching this, whether it's live or on demand. Much love and appreciation to you all. Now, we have Money in the Bank coming up July 1st, 2023. We had a new participant confirmed for the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We will get to that in just a few moments here. Shout out to Jeff Meacham and the Jeff Meacham Network. If you guys missed it, check out the Collision recap video, which is up on the No DQ YouTube channel. JM and crew did their live watch along, and then I came on afterwards and gave my thoughts. Check it out if you haven't already. Anyways, on to Raw. Seth freaking Rollins, the World Heavyweight Champion, came to the ring for his open challenge, but he was attacked by Finn Balor, who will be facing Rollins at Money in the Bank. Balor beat the crap out of Rollins, gave him the coup de grace on the floor. The officials ran down to try and settle things, and then backstage, Balor attacked Rollins once again. This was after the commercial break. Rollins beat down in the backstage area a second time. Meanwhile, back in the ring, we had The Miz, who said that he was going to accept Rollins' open challenge. And since Rollins was out of commission, Miz was issuing his own open challenge. And I was thinking, could this be Johnny Gargano in Cleveland? But perhaps even better still, it was the return of Tommaso Ciampa making his big return. And even better on top of that, he had his old music back. No One Will Survive, his old theme music from NXT. Happy he has his old theme song back. Came out there to face his old friend, his old tag team partner, The Miz, from 2022, which I think everybody pretty much just tried to forget at this point. Nice little showing here from Ciampa. It was a basic match, but it was designed to reestablish Ciampa. Miz did get in a little bit of offense, but not too much. Ciampa did pick up the win with the fairy tale ending. Nice return for him. And we'll see where things go from here. If we will see a DIY reunion at some point, time will tell. Backstage, actually not backstage, we had Judgment Day coming out to the stage, and Finn Balor basically took credit for the open challenge being canceled. He said he is the only one that is going to beat Seth Rollins for the World Heavyweight Championship. Rhea Ripley hyped up Dominic Mysterio versus Cody Rhodes. Damian Priest hyped up Money in the Bank. Dominic got on the mic and, as usual, heavily booed. He finally was able to spit it out that they were challenging Cody Rhodes to a 6-man tag team match. He told Cody to go and find some partners. We had a couple of segments throughout the show of Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, and I guess Sami Zayn is concerned about Owens. They're doing comedy here. Kevin Owens, according to Zayn, is a rageaholic. He's always getting angry, and Sami Zayn is trying to calm down Owens just a little bit. We had a tag team match, Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville versus Kaden Carter and Katana Chance. Sonya went right after one of them, I forgot which one, with a big boot, basically a cheap shot. I think it was Katana. Kaden Carter was on the apron. She got knocked off the apron. But Kaden and Katana quickly recovered from this. They made their comeback. They won with that, whatever it is. I'm not even sure how many rotations. The dive off the top from Katana. They call it the after party. She picked up the win over Sonya Deville. And yeah, it was just a showcase match for the new team on Raw. Get them established. Very basic match here. Not too much to say about it. We had Cody Rhodes interviewed at the stage, which was interesting. Kind of like back in the day when Mean Gene Okerlund would interview people and you had the crowd in the background. Little change of pace here. I'm fine with it. Cody Rhodes basically accepted the 6-man tag team match for the main event. Then we had a tag team match, Indus Sher versus Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Shelton and Cedric, I think, have new music, still bland. If WWE really wants them to get a crowd pop, bring back Ain't No Stopping Me Now. Just saying. Anyways, Cedric and Shelton really tried to build up some momentum here. They went right after Indus Sher, but you had Jinder Mahal out there providing a distraction. And it did not take too long. Indus Sher double team Shelton Benjamin after Cedric was dropped onto the barricade, and they picked up the win. Basically a showcase match for Indus Sher. Backstage, Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn met with Matt Riddle. And if you guys remember that Simpsons Treehouse of Horror where Homer Simpson goes crazy and he has the urge to kill, that's basically what Kevin Owens is doing at this point. And when Riddle was out there talking to him, his urge to kill was rising. Owens was really trying not to get angry at Matt Riddle. And Matt Riddle is just naturally annoying. So it was quite the challenge for KO. Then we had the return, the grand return of everybody's favorite wrestler, Logan Paul. Logan Paul was sitting on top of a ladder with the Money in the Bank briefcases. We had the women's briefcase there too because you have to promote both matches. He took some shots at Cleveland, said that he left Cleveland to pursue his dreams while everyone else just froze their asses off in cold Cleveland during the winter. He officially entered Money in the Bank. He said he is going to put some respect on the name Cleveland once again. He said Cleveland is tired of losing. He's going to win Money in the Bank in London. He declared himself. He was officially in. I expected this. I've been talking about this for weeks now. I mean, spoiler alert for predictions, but he's my pick. I really want LA Knight to win, but I have to go with my brain and not my heart. But we'll talk about predictions next week. We'll go into more detail. I'm still going with Logan Paul, regardless of what anybody says. I'm going with the smart pick. Anyways, we'll talk more next week about that. Ricochet interrupted. Ricochet got on the mic, and I guess if I was going to say something positive, it was not the worst promo he's ever cut on WWE TV. I will say that for Ricochet. He just basically said that the only reason Logan Paul is in this match is because Ricochet made him go viral at the Royal Rumble when they both did the collision midair during that match. Then we had Shinsuke Nakamura interrupt. Then we had LA Knight interrupt. And LA Knight was maybe the highlight of this segment. Huge crowd pop for him. And I mean, he was far and away the best promo here. Then Santos Escobar interrupted. And guess what? Butch interrupted, but he did not talk. He just wanted to fight. He attacked Logan Paul. Everybody started brawling, and Logan Paul came over the top rope with a dive onto Ricochet and Santos, got back in the ring, and posed on top of the ladder with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Somehow, nobody could get back in the ring. Everybody was so brutally beaten down here that nobody, not even LA Knight, nobody was able to get back in the ring and knock him off this ladder. Like, were they all dead? What happened? How did everybody just suddenly die out there? And Logan Paul is on top of the ladder and posing there for 30 seconds. And what, everybody just go to the back and take a shit or something? Like, what was going on here? Anyways, I thought the segment was stupid. You guys know I'm not a fan, for those of you that have been watching me for a while, you know I'm not a fan of what I like to call the interruption segment, where it's one person after another, like an assembly line coming out there, and then the whole ending with basically there's just a brawl and then everybody's down and unconscious from who knows what, and Logan Paul is celebrating there on the ladder. We'll talk about it next week. I'm not shocked at all. People are already preemptively getting upset, but do not get your hopes up. Like LA Knight winning, I would go in that direction 100%, but you have to look at it from WWE's perspective. Logan Paul with that briefcase equals publicity. Just keep that in mind. Walter Cruz sent in a $5 super chat. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. Says, Logan Paul will probably win, if anything, just for the super media attention and exposure with him having the briefcase on every podcast. Bingo. That's what it's all about. WWE is trying to continue to grow their audience, bring in new viewers whenever possible. And Logan Paul is that gateway, because Logan Paul has an audience outside of wrestling and he could potentially bring in some new viewers. Although at this point, you would think anybody that is a fan of Logan Paul that wanted to watch WWE would have done so by now, just saying. We had Ludwig Kaiser going up against Matt Riddle. I cannot say his name as cool as Samantha Irving, so I shouldn't even try, really. Riddle got distracted by Gunther. I mean, stupid babyface 101. And Riddle made his comeback after the commercial break. Fisherman superplex, floating bro. Fisherman buster, Kaiser kicked out. Eventually, Riddle did get the win with the bro Derek, basically setting him up. A showcase match for Matt Riddle to get a title match against Gunther and lose. Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Michael. He says, let me talk to you. LA Knight better win Money in the Bank. I'm all for it, but don't get your hopes up, man. I know LA Knight has his supporters. And like I said, he was head and shoulders above everybody else on the mic during that segment. Very clearly. And the crowd reactions to him, like, what's going on here? Strap the rocket to this guy already. What are you waiting for? Like, it feels like a Zack Ryder 2011 scenario where he's not their guy, so they're not going to push him. This isn't their plan. Same thing with Rusev Day. Rusev getting massively over with the Rusev Day chants, but it wasn't their plan. So they don't capitalize on it. Like, I just don't get it. If somebody's hot, push him to the moon. And AEW makes the same mistake. They did it with Wardlow. They had a gold mine potentially with Wardlow, and they dropped the ball. And I feel like WWE's doing the same thing here with LA Knight. And again, I don't think he's winning, but we'll talk about it later. Backstage, we had Imperium coming up to Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, warning them that the same thing that happened to Riddle is going to happen to them. And of course, they were just backstage jerking off. Kevin Owens getting angry. He does not care about Riddle. Some baby faces these guys are like they don't even come out to help the original bro when he's getting beaten down. I forgot to mention that Imperium beat up Riddle after the match and left him laying, but nobody came out there to help him. I mean, he's that annoying. Matt Riddle is so annoying, nobody wants to help him. And somebody had texted Sami Zayn, and we got to follow up to this later on. We had the Alpha Academy versus the Viking Raiders. Earlier, before the show, Chad Gable was in his coach mode, and he was teaching some moves to Maxine Dupree. Not those kind of moves, guys. Don't have your mind in the gutter. Anyways, Ivar took control, spin kick to the face of Otis. Gable eventually got the hot tag, started building up some momentum. Crowd was really into Gable, by the way. Another guy that seems to be more over than his push, much like LA Knight. He came off the top with a moonsault onto both Viking Raiders on the outside of the ring. And back in the ring, he did the big diving headbutt. Eric kicked out. And at this point, Sarah Logan, Valhalla, whatever her name is, she got on the apron, and Maxine Dupree actually busted out a suplex on the floor. Big crowd pop for that, but unfortunately for them, this worked in the favor of the Viking Raiders. Eric was able to take advantage of all the pandemonium on the outside, and he ended up pinning Chad Gable. I hate to say it. I mean, I don't even know if Chad Gable is a babyface at this point. I thought they turned face, but I'm not really sure what Otis and Gable are at this point. You would think they're baby faces, but anyways, stupid baby face if he is one, because he had a plan. He tried to help out Maxine Dupree, and it backfired on him. We had Rhea Ripley chatting with Finn Balor and Damian Priest, trying to make sure that they were on the same page for the 6-man tag team match. And then we had Shinsuke Nakamura, or not Shinsuke Nakamura, we're jumping ahead. We had Natalya versus Rhea Ripley. Why is Natalya getting a rematch when she lost very decisively? This feels like a Vince McMahon booking decision, just saying. Natalya cut a pre-match promo, said she's trying to figure out who she is. I'm trying to figure out who would possibly care about this. Anyway, she came into the ring to try and prove that she belongs there. And of course, Rhea Ripley just attacked her from behind before the bell rang, threw into the steel steps, riptide. Officials came down, and, well, there was no match. So, yeah, just something for Rhea to do, I guess. Even though she was on the show in other segments, like, totally unnecessary segment, in my opinion. We had Raquel backstage vowing to cash in on Rhea Ripley, and then Rhea Ripley got in her face and acted all tough, but then Raquel stood up to her, and Rhea Ripley kind of backed down a little bit. Looks like we got a little tease for that, maybe SummerSlam. We had Trish Stratus versus Raquel in a Money in the Bank qualifying match. Match was pretty decent, although a little bit sloppy at times. Like, there was one instant where you had Raquel doing the fallaway slam to Trish, and Trish took a really awkward looking bump. And thankfully, I don't think she got injured, but that could have resulted in an injury. Match was fine. Other than that, you had Zoe Stark out there, and she was interfering. She swept the legs of Raquel on the apron while the referee was distracted. And Becky Lynch ran down, attacked Zoe Stark. Trish Stratus went after Becky, and Becky defended herself, but because the match was actively going on, referee had no choice but to call for the bell, and Trish Stratus advances via DQ. Raquel was disqualified because Becky put her hands on Trish in self-defense. Raquel, of course, was not happy about this, and she had some words with Becky. We then had Braun Breaker make an appearance on Raw in a backstage segment. And yes, I agree with TJS. Becky looking like an idiot here, no doubt. But you have to defend yourself, I suppose. Braun Breaker was interviewed, and he said, surely Seth Rollins is not going to make any excuses after being attacked by Balor. He said what Balor did to Rollins is nothing compared to what he's going to do at NXT Gold Rush, which is tomorrow night, Tuesday night, the 20th, for those of you watching this on demand. And spoiler alert, I do not think Braun Breaker is winning that title. I would say it's highly unlikely, in all likelihood, that he wins that title. It'd be a nice swerve, but I mean, they're already investing all this time into Finn Balor versus Seth Rollins, so not going to happen. But you could watch NXT and see Braun put up a good fight against Seth Rollins. Backstage, Becky Lynch said that she screwed herself. Not that way, guys. She screwed herself because she basically allowed Trish Stratus to enter this Money in the Bank match, and now she has yet another person that doesn't like her in this ladder match. But she said that if she's going down, she's going to go down in a blaze of glory. She's going to take down all of her enemies, whether it be Bayley or Zoe Stark or Trish Stratus, and we'll see how that goes. Backstage, Rollins was in the trainer's room, and he essentially agreed to show up at NXT. He's not backing down. The match will happen as planned. And he said that Finn Balor is now the old Balor. He said, welcome back. The Balor that beat him 7 years ago has re-emerged. Michael sent in a $2 super chat. Thank you for that, Michael. Much appreciated. Says, Aaron, say Chelsea Green like Samantha does. I think that's how she says it. Yeah, I like her ring announcements. I think she does a great job. Chelsea Green announcement, the Bloodline announcement, and of course, Imperium. Great stuff. We had our main event. And as it turns out, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens accepted the spot. Originally, Tozawa wanted to be Cody's partner. And when Cody said this, that Tozawa had stepped up, Kevin Owens started to get angry. The urge to kill was rising. But Cody said, relax. I trust you guys. You guys are my partners, yada, yada, yada. And there we had it. Judgment Day versus Dominic. Or not Dominic. Dominic was on Judgment Day's team. Judgment Day versus Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn, and Cody Rhodes. Dominic did not want to get into the ring with Cody Rhodes, and the crowd started a Dominic's a pussy chant, which was censored by the USA Network or WWE production, whoever's responsible for that. Got censored, but you knew what it was. And this was, in the beginning, your standard tag team match. They worked over Zayn for a while. Owens got a hot tag. He beat up Dominic. Crowd popped big for that. Rhea Ripley was very upset, and her facial reactions, great stuff here, reacting to Dominic being attacked by Kevin Owens was great stuff. Balor was back in there, and then Priest tagged in. Cody Rhodes tagged in. Rhea Ripley got on the apron. Damian Priest took advantage. Things started to break down. Rhea got on the apron again, and Sami Zayn just decided to jump over Rhea Ripley over the top rope onto Dom. Cody Rhodes hit the Cody Cutter to Priest, but Priest kicked out. Dominic came back in, attempted the 619, but got attacked by Zayn. Haluva kick, and then Kevin Owens with the stunner to Dominic, and then Cody Rhodes finished off Damian Priest with the Crossroads. Match was pretty good for a 6-man. I enjoyed Rhea Ripley's interference and her whole presence out there. No cliffhanger at the end. They just won the match, and that was that. Of course, you guys know I'm not happy when there's no cliffhanger at the end. I like something at the end to hook me for the next show. It was all right, but overall, this Raw was just very average in my opinion. Other than Tommaso Ciampa returning and Logan Paul showing up, I have to agree with TJS. Kind of felt like a glorified house show. Like they did hype up Money in the Bank, but everything was fairly standard. It really did feel like a glorified house show. So I'm going with a C plus for this week's Raw. Really, Ciampa coming back, and the crowd was good. I think the crowd definitely helped. If it was a dead crowd, I might have gone with a C or even a C minus, but the crowd was pretty hot for this show. No Johnny Gargano, even though the show was in Cleveland. And Gargano did give Cleveland a shout out on Twitter. Hopefully he'll be back soon. And that was Raw, everybody. Money in the Bank coming up. Logan Paul's in it to win it. And it might be an interesting night on the internet if Logan Paul wins the Money in the Bank briefcase. But we'll talk about that more next week. We got Dynamite coming up. We have SmackDown and Collision. Remember, I will be recapping Collision at least on weeks that it's live and weeks that there's no WWE competition. Just an FYI for the future. I do plan on recapping Collision, but it's not going to be every single week. It'll have to depend on the situation. Anyways, guys, have a great week. Thank you for your continued support of NoDQ.com and the YouTube channel. Follow me at NoDQDOTCOM and Aaron Rift on social media platforms. Follow good old JM Jeff Meacham and the Jeff Meacham Network. Take care, everybody. Stay safe out there. Say yes to NoDQ.com, and I will see you all next time.